This video is all about the campground where we were in Hannibal, Missouri, and that was the Mark Twain Cave and Campground. So we'll get into it right after this. So continuing on with the campground, we do have, there's a bathhouse and a laundry, and it's actually fairly close to where we are. I think this is the only one though. There is a children's play area. Now the laundry, now mind you, check the size of the place out. It's a pretty big campground. There's 2 washers, one's out of order, and 2 dryers. Pretty old equipment. Bug spray. I think, you know, considering what we've seen in other places, this is that's unfortunately not a good thing as far as the washroom goes, the laundry. There's a dog wash, which is nice. Now, as luck would have it, you have all these awesome spots in the shade. Even these spots over on this side are in the shade in the evening sun because of all the big trees. The spot here next to us is in the shade. Now, we have a little bit of shade in the morning because of our awning, but we're pretty much full sunlight for the entire day. I booked back in March. This is July 4th weekend. They claim that they do not guarantee a site for you, that it's pretty much when you show up. We showed up and all these empty sites were here. We asked to change and they said they couldn't because other people were promised these sites. Not a positive way to start my review for this place. So unfortunately, I don't know if you have to know somebody. I cannot imagine that all these people booked prior to March. So I don't know why we couldn't get one of the spots we really wanted. There are quite a few sites. I'm going to post the map right here so you'll see what the campgrounds look like. There's a couple of covered picnic areas that they have set up for gatherings. 2 of them in this area. A lot of green space around, except for where we are. Yeah. Now, there is the Tom Sawyer Cave that is directly behind the check-in building, and it's way down there. You can barely see it from here. We are going to be here through the 5th, so we thought we might do that on the 5th because the crowds hopefully will have dispersed at that point. So that's about it for right now. We will take a look around a little bit more around the campground as we go to kind of show you more of the facilities. But yeah, we're getting ready for our outing today, so I'll cut this section short, but we'll be right back with more information about the campground. A few last words about the Mark Twain Cave Campground. We were here for the 4th of July weekend. It was packed. There wasn't a single space free, and I don't blame them on that. That's actually good. They have a big festival in town for the 4th of July. It's the Mark Twain days, or actually the Tom Sawyer days. And there's a parade and festival atmosphere. There's all sorts of great stuff going on. The facilities, they are rustic, but to be honest, in a location like this, I kind of like the rustic. The nice thing is, his location, you're only about 2 miles from historic downtown Hannibal, maybe a hair more than that. You're about 5.5 miles from the nearest Walmart and an area of Hannibal that is much more modern in what it's got to offer. And you're right here at the Tom Sawyer Cave, and they also have another cave tour here as well. They also host a truck tour, which you saw, and that all comes right out of this campground. And we saw a number of picnic areas that they have set up. We're walking toward the front office just to get another look up there. But pros and cons. Pros, obviously close to everything. Cons, sites, they're not as level as they could be. They can definitely be a lot more level. If you come in, try to avoid the D row, D as in David. The D row, especially the site that we were in, I think we were in like D2, I want to say, maybe D4, I'll post it below. This spot, it never had shade. All the other spots in the campground had shade. A lot of them had a lot of shade all day long. There were some sites in the D row that got shade once it started to drop behind the trees, but right where we were located, there's like a breakaway in the trees, and there was absolutely no shade until it finally dropped down behind the horizon. So like right now, and right now it's after 8. In fact, it's probably closing in on 9, 8:45. Yeah. So this is a very cool area, however, heavily wooded all the way around, and that kind of gives you that whole Tom Sawyer Huck Finn feel to it all. I haven't really walked to the front, so this actually is a little further than I was thinking, but it's not bad. You can definitely walk to the front store. Store closes at 8, so it's been closed for about 45 minutes now. Now, up front here, they do have a store with some things that you might need, and they definitely have souvenirs of the caves, because it also serves not only as the check-in for the RV park, it is also the check-in for the tours, both for the cave and for the historic Hannibal truck tours. They used to do a trolley tour that we thought still was going on, but it no longer is. The trolleys are parked out there. They might use them on rare occasion. There's a winery where they do have tasting, and they have a little store that was closed the whole time we were here, and they have a sandwich shop that is not open either. I went in and asked about the sandwich shop, and they said no, it was a good idea, but apparently they did not get enough business to keep it running. They're thinking of trying to figure out a way to reopen it, but as of now, they don't have that. You're going to want to check the schedules of all the places in town. A lot of the restaurants are not open all the time. Some of them are just breakfast and lunch. There's a few that are only lunch and dinner. There's some that are closed on certain days. If you have a major holiday, some were actually closed on the 4th. All of them were closed today on the 5th. So you've got some issues there, and a lot of times they will be closed Mondays and Tuesdays. So plan your stay accordingly. We're out front of the cave and store. So this is basically where you would check in at. And across the way is the winery and what is left of the sandwich shop off to the left behind the trees. Internet. Let's get to that. For the most part, when there's just average number of people here, or it was light in the park, they just redid their internet, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. We were able to stream video. We were able to watch the Fire Stick. We were able to do stuff on the iPads and the computer and all that. You could not upload. The upload speeds were very slow. And once the place filled in for the 4th, it was actually the 3rd when we had everyone here, it was incredibly sketchy. It would pop in and out. Now, on average, 2 bars on AT&T. Inside the stores, especially downtown, you had 1 bar if you're lucky. So older buildings, I guess. But it is a nice setting. So do I recommend it? Yes. But I would be cautious on the pros and the cons especially. They do have some spaces that are really long. They're not horribly wide, but they're adequate. Like the spot right here, A1, not too bad. You probably could fit in there. I discovered one thing though, they will allow you to pay extra to lock in your site. It costs more. We did not do that apparently. I thought I did, apparently we did not. So if you don't lock in your site, they will not change you if the place is full when you get here. So we had some other people we talked to. They had booked, they had locked in the site, and they wound up having a much nicer site. We were kind of stuck with what we had. Though we were here longer than almost everybody else. There's only one other group that is here that got here, I think, the same day we did, and they're still here. And we're probably all going to be leaving tomorrow, as we've been here for we've been here 6 full days. So if they booked for a week, that could be. Anyways, sun is setting. Lights are getting dim. I'm smelling fire in the fire pits. And fireflies are starting to pop out in some little areas here. It's funny how much brighter everything looks through the GoPro than it does in real life. Great low light capability. So that's it for this campground review. If you're in the Hannibal area, I highly recommend this campground. It's very convenient, local, within a couple miles of downtown. So definitely a great place to go. And until then, make sure that you hit that subscription button and the notification bell. Let you know every time we post every Sunday at 2 o'clock. Thumbs up for good measure, and safe travels. We'll see you on the road.